on to the next question now. I love this topic. A student, and I want to start this off by talking about Northeastern University in Boston, Massachusetts. Great school. And I want to talk about that because the concept of yield protection is something a student should keep in mind to protect themselves from colleges, not admitting them or deferring their application because they don't think the student will accept. And one way students want to protect themselves from colleges worrying about their yield. Let me explain what this means, okay? Northeastern School, and I'm going to use them as a paradigm, they receive so many applications from students who also might be applying to Ivy League schools. So they have to ask themselves, is this applicant serious about coming here, or are we just a backup option to them? This is where a concept called demonstrated interest comes into play. Demonstrated interest, schools like Northeastern are paying attention to whether a student has taken the time to visit the campus, maybe attend an event there, or expressed in their application, why schools like Northeastern, why they're interested, excited about Northeastern's programs, if they feel enthusiastic about the school, if their behavior demonstrates that, if they're liking them on social media, they can tell, they have data that metrics that can say if the student's likely to accept. So Northeastern would fit the school that would engage in something called yield protection, because again, they get those kids who are going to apply to them, but also apply to Ivies, who may be using them as a backup. They don't want to be used as a backup. They want to admit a student who has a strong chance they're going to accept. And Northeastern's grown in popularity and prestige over the years, and they've gotten a bigger and larger and more competitive applicant pool. So as a result, they want to maintain their yield. The yield, let me explain what yield is as we go on. Yield is how many students who college offers admissions to accept their offer. Colleges get graded and ranked in publications like the U.S. News and World Report on their yield. They don't want to have a low yield. They want to have a high yield. The Ivies have a very high yield. About 60% of the kids they offer admissions to, even more, higher than 60, accept. Schools like Northeastern want to have a higher yield. They don't have that high yield, but they want to improve every year. They don't. So if they feel a student is very qualified, I had a student last year, Brown University, get in, a lot of Ivies. He also applied to Northeastern, and they put him on a deferral. And he was a little shocked, and I explained to him the reason is because they likely knew they were a backup option. They gave him a chance when they deferred him. Deferral means they said, we're not letting you in now, but we're going to decide when we reconsider you for a regular decision. It was a way of seeing how interested he was. He had to go through the process of resubmitting his application, okay, of confirming his interest for January 1st, the regular decision deadline. So schools like Northeastern are carefully measuring how interested a student is when you apply. Again, they're demonstrating interest. You can show that by conversing through email with admissions officers, liking their posts on social media, visiting the school, even doing a virtual tour is okay, campus visits okay, email communications. And for schools that have supplemental essays, like Georgetown even is a good example, use a way to show a lot of enthusiasm. One of my students got into Georgetown, and he was nervous that they weren't going to believe, that they were going to be afraid of he was going to be a yield issue, but he had attended there in the summer program, so I knew he'd have a good chance. I could see he really wanted to go there, and he did the interview. They offered a voluntary interview. He did the interview with the alumni that they offered. That showed he was really interested. So yes, Northeastern schools like Georgetown are schools that are going to worry about yield protection, especially given their competitive position in the admissions landscape, where they're not quite Ivies, but they're very high. It's their way of competing with Ivies and other top-tier institutions with strong applicants, because Ivy League schools know their offers are highly valued, and most admitted students will accept. Again, for a school, like I mentioned, the ones I'm mentioning, UNC Chapel Hill, Northeastern, Georgetown, which are not Ivies, but are still very strong and competitive schools, they might suspect the student is using them as a backup, and then they will give them a deferral often, as a result, Northeastern similar schools are more likely to evaluate, again, how strongly a student is likely to accept their offer. So I help my students, and you should, those listening all over the world and country, applying to schools, if you really want to go to a school, it's important you make clear to them that it's a top choice of yours through the different ways I mentioned. And that's, again, really, really important that they don't see you as a fallback option. It doesn't mean they won't let you in. they think that, but it's a lower chance they'd let you in, and they don't want to take their chances. So to review, if a school admits 1,000 students and 500 enroll, their yield rate is 50. And again, the yield is a key metric that indicates how desirable a college is to applicants and to outside sources. Again, it matters. It's very important. So when deciding early decisions, we were talking about earlier today in the show, it helps a college improve their yield because they know those students are bound to come and are going to come. And early action as well helps a college improve their yield by getting more people in early and committed. Okay, and it's all a predictive measure. It's how many colleges use to predict how many students will enroll and ensure they don't overfill or underfill their incoming class. And they have to plan budgets. They have to have things predictable. So these are the ways you can leverage demonstrated interest. I hope this helped you all. Understand how early decision and non-binding EA programs help you secure a portion, can help a college secure their classes early and boost the yields rates. And I hope you understand why, from today's show, how early decision should be used strategically. It should not be used because you think it's going to buttress, if you're not in the top 25th or 30th percentile of statistics, that it's going to increase your chances or all of a sudden make up for that. It's not. It's for qualified applicants who are within their range. It doesn't mean you can't be pushed over the hump with good essays, with good extracurriculars, good recommendation letters, but that could happen in regular decision also. So, keep in mind, as I talk about early action, in early applications are also a way to guarantee the first opportunities at scholarships. It's really, really important, okay? So I hope that was helpful to all of you. I really love these questions that are coming in from people, the questions. I get these questions all the time. People are so are so mystified a little bit by early decision. And I say that they're always asking it because you hear so many contradictory things. I hope this cleared it up. Early decision, great option for Ivies, gives you a chance if you're qualified already, if you're within their score ranges, their acceptance ranges of SAT, ACT scores, GPA, extracurricular norms. It is not something that can be used to make up for anything else, okay? So I hope those questions were helpful for all of you. Thank you so much for them. It's so good to have you all today for the show, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you. Have a great day.